evening, Mr. Santee. Rob McNelis coming to you live from You Build It Santee, and I'm here with Councilman Dustin Trotter.
Hello, everybody.
And our friend indeed, who is a friend in need right now, and he is a friend indeed, and that is John Hosick. How you doing, John?
Good.
Good.
Very good.
And I say you're a friend in need because you have an event that you put on every single year. This is your 12th year of doing this, and it's called Buddy's Backpacks.
Yes.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about how that got started and how that and what the needs are and how people can help?
Perfect. So these two guys that are sitting next to me are co-founded our backpacks in 2015. Happened sort of by accident. We had teamed up to do other little projects, but we ended up, for my role, just so you understand, I'm the president of the Santee Mobile Home Owners Action Committee,
Also known as
SMOAC.
SMOAC.
Right, that's an easy term.
Yeah.
And so in that 2015, we went to Mission Del Magnolia, and Dustin had 50 canvas bags, and we had 2 backpacks. That's it.
I know. It's crazy.
And we held a barbecue.
Yep.
And it went like that.
Yeah. Yep.
And we realized at that moment, and it was funny because Dustin, it was your kids who actually stuffed the canvas bags.
Yeah, all the bags with what supplies we had.
Yes.
What was there?
I think we had, like you said, 2 backpacks. I think we had 2 scientific calculators, if
Yeah,
I remember right. That was the big prize.
That was a big prize.
That was
I
the,
do remember.
the, back,
Oh
the
my
backpacks
gosh,
and
yes.
2 scientific calculators.
Yeah.
That was a big prize, you know. It's what we could afford. It's what was donated.
But it
that
made,
year.
you know what? But it made
Yeah.
a difference. It absolutely
Yeah.
made a difference to the kids that got that stuff because they would have gone without if not for that event. So,
Right.
yeah, it's some of the more underserved families in the community, and they were able to get something. But you guys decided to grow it from there.
Yes. So once we realized there was a need for what we were doing, and it was there. So before we even got going into this part of it, when Buddy, my spouse who had passed away in 2020, I'll get to that and how we renamed it. But we decided that because of the mobile home parks and how the city had supported us in helping stabilize our rents, help our seniors, help our families in that way, we had decided we were going to give back to our community and find different ways to do it. And that's how you guys came in to do that. And so,
And that was as SMOAC.
That was as SMOAC.
As SMOAC giving back to the community.
Yes.
As the Santee Mobile Homeowners Action Committee giving back to the community. So like an activist club giving back to the community of Santee.
Yes.
Yeah.
The city, we went through a series of different things, but
Oh man.
it was tough on right?
Oh yeah.
It was tough on our mobile home
Oh
parks.
yeah.
We were worried about
Karen
our rents.
Reginado and Jim
Montague.
Jim Montague, yes, they were leading the
The
charge on
charge.
that stuff, and I worked with them endlessly to make sure that we were able to put some controls down so that because at the time people were losing their mobile homes because investors would come in and buy these parks up and double or triple the rents overnight.
Yeah, they could do that.
They could have done that.
Yes.
And you do that to a senior who's on a fixed income, and they say, okay, if it's an apartment, it's one thing. If rents go up in an apartment, you just go, okay, well, I get my possessions and I move to another apartment.
Move, right?
But when you own the coach, you own the mobile home, but you lease the land it sits on. You can't just pick that up.
In theory.
It's $20,000-$30,000
move
it costs to move it
To move
if you could find another park that's ready to take it at that time. So
and to understand the significance of our city and our city council and our leaders, right? And where SMOAC ties in is that's our advocacy. That was our bread and butter advocacy that really fed into the quality of life, because 9 out of 12 of our parks are seniors. And that makes a huge difference. Like what Rob was saying is that they're on a fixed income.
Yeah.
And so.
And they own the coach.
And
And it's not like they're renting inside of it and they just get their stuff and move out. They own the coach.
Yes.
You can't just take that.
Yes. And so in 1991, the city passed an ordinance that allowed us to protect our rents based on CPI. However, in around 2008-ish, right around when I got involved, two of the parks, they were basically challenged on our rent control ordinance, and the city stepped up and defended our ordinance to protect us, so that we could have those stable rents, so that our seniors didn't have to worry about where they were going to go.
Right.
So once the lawsuits were settled, roughly around 11 and 12, right in there.
Yeah.
And then Buddy took over as vice president. I started out actually as the secretary during that time of those lawsuits. And so I understood what was happening. I was watching people being really scared by what was happening.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I got into this because my own park was bought, and we went through eminent domain because of Highway 52.
Oh yeah.
Right? And so that's how I got involved in this in that 2007, 2008 timeframe. So I kind of stepped back, and then Buddy stepped in as a vice president because the vice president asked him to do that. And then he eventually took over as the president. And then I came in back again as vice president of whatever,
Yep.
right? Trying to help the organization. And collectively, we just decided, look, we're lucky that what the city did for us. We're very thankful for that. And so we reached out.
It was a lot of time and energy. I mean, it was. That was
Oh.
that was the biggest thing going on in Santee at the time.
That was.
That really was.
Yeah, because
When that finally got settled out, it was like, oh my
We're like,
gosh,
okay,
wow,
now we're okay.
Yes.
Now we're okay, right?
Yes.
And now you have a state law that actually has rent control for the entire state, but our ordinance protects us so well that it's actually, in my opinion, it's better, and it protects us even more than what the state does, which is usually what the city council does. Usually our city council, whether you know it or not, they will usually enhance our state laws to make them better for us. So there's not so, and this is not just mobile home parks. These are being involved in this, just so you guys know, right? I've been in city council going from that time on and watched these two and the entire city council help defend us in so many different ways, in helping make laws that for the statewide that would really hurt us, minimize that, and things that would help us enhance that, right? And so Buddy and I, we decided that we were going to do something better. We decided to do this backpack drive, and it took. The following year, we teamed up with the library, and we decided to have it there. So we collected some backpacks, and we handed it out. And I'll tell you a little thing about the second year that got my attention. So we had about maybe 300 backpacks that second year, which I think was pretty good.
That was, yes.
Right? I think that was
I
pretty good,
remember
right?
stacked up on the tables in front of the library.
And the fact the library stepped in as a donation site, just so you know, when you run a nonprofit, it's very important for people to step up and help, right? And at that time, I remember knocking on so many doors, asking businesses, would you please support a donation box? Would you please support what we're trying to do? And that was really tough. The library stood up, the Santee Coffee Corner stood up, and the YMCA stood up. Those were our three main donation sites. And so we held that giveaway outside, because we couldn't do it inside the library at that time.
Right.
It was some restrictions or whatever.
Right.
And it was new, so they were worried about, liability. So Buddy and I were sitting outside, and a car pulls up with these two girls in it, and a mom, and the younger one jumps out and goes to the table, so excited, Mom, look. And then the older one comes up, finds her backpack, and she goes, Mom, look, I don't have to go to school with a hole in my backpack. At that moment, for me, as much work as this program takes, that never left me. Seeing the visual of a parent and a kid connecting with something that made them happy and made them feel secure. And from then on, it's just grown.
I mean, every year going back to school it's a stressful time for a kid to begin with. It's exciting, but it's also scary because what is this year going to bring, especially if it's the next level of school,
Right.
going from
Primary school to junior high, or junior high to high school.
and so on and so
Yeah.
forth. Or it's a new school, and
Right.
when you go there and you don't have the tools necessary to really do what's needed. You don't have a backpack. You don't have to carry your books in and or a pen. The right pens are you got one pencil, and that's and that is a real thing for some families. It's a struggle to put those things together. So to be able to give a kid like that the ability to go in with a brand new backpack, it's one less. It gives a little more pride when they're walking around to know that someone's not going to make fun of them because they have a hole in their backpack where things are falling out of it, and it's day one.
That's
You
right.
know, and unfortunately, kids can be mean sometimes.
Well, and this is before social media really took hold.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Okay?
oh yeah.
Because for us, our first basic podcast, if you will, was John Olson. And that was about a year later. The third year, we were able to convince John Olson, who did the Santee update. At that time, that was he. I remember him looking at his phone, trying. He was putting it together to do the Santee update to let people know what was going on in the community. And we asked him, said, "Hey, that's kind of a cool thing, right? Can you tell people what we're doing and put it out there?" And he did, and that is incredible. And one thing about the backpack that you really mentioned that hits home. There's not lockers in these schools.
Not anymore. Yeah.
You don't. What are you going to carry your stuff in?
Yeah.
So, and then you're like, okay, what am I supposed to do with this stuff?
Yeah.
And stay organized. How's that going to happen?
Yeah.
So a lot of times people ask, well, why should I give? Why should I do this? Why should I do that? Well, part of that question and part of the answer is that if you walk into a school, when I was going to school, we had lockers. We
Absolutely.
actually didn't have a problem with it. We had our own lock, and we could put all of our stuff in there, and it stayed there.
And our backpacks went in the locker.
They went in
You
the
only
locker.
had your backpack to
Right.
take stuff home that you needed to take
Right.
to school and then from home. You didn't carry it around the campus.
No.
You didn't need to.
So if you
You had a
go in
locker.
some of these schools, you're going to notice that
Yeah.
they don't have that.
Yeah.
Right.
So you're not just giving them something to organize themselves. You're giving them something to help carry literally their future on their back.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
And so over time, we end up progressing to get more people to get involved. And it got to the point where I think we were in the library, and it was insane. I want to say it was 2018 or 19. I want to say it was the year. It was insane.
Well, let's give a little more chronological to that, because you're going in the right direction here. So 2015, we started over here at Mission Del Magnolia, 50 canvas bags that I bought, supplies in there, like you said. Year number 2, 2016, we got with the library. The library came through and gave us a place, right? We were outside at that first year. The line was down the sidewalk. I remember it was a pretty
It was
good.
the first 2 or 3 years, wasn't it? At the library?
It was at the library.
Yeah.
No, it's more than that. It was.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going.
Yeah.
That's,
Okay. All
So
right.
16
Yeah.
it was the library. It was outside though. We had tables outside lined up, and the people were lined up down the sidewalk.
Yep.
And I remember that year, like John said, I think we had about 300 backpacks, and I think I bought 100 that year or something. Right there with the backpacks. And then subsequently the next year, 2017, I believe Cheryl let us go inside. If I'm not mistaken.
No, I think we still stayed outside
So
until.
2 years.
Yeah,
Okay,
2 years.
So 2 years we were outside,
Oh,
and then the third year at the library, so 2018.
Yes.
Cheryl, the librarian at that time, allowed us to go inside.
Yes.
And inside, we were able to set it up a little bit differently, like you said. And again, the lines down the freaking sidewalk, down the street.
Through the parking lot.
It was crazy. But from those numbers, John, you remember from 16 was about like 300 backpacks,
Yeah.
and I think that we went to like double that again, 500 or 600.
Yeah, we
then-
just kept progressing.
And then
Yeah.
it got up to 800, and then I think around 2018 or 2019,
Yeah.
it got to almost 1,000 backpack, 900,
Yes.
something like
Yep,
that,
yep.
right?
Yes.
And then John will finish with the library here and some of the cool things that happen out there, and then we get 2020.
Yeah, but
Boom.
before we get there,
I know.
right. So the thing about the thing about the library was they were gracious enough to trust us. Once we gained their trust those first 2 years,
Yep.
literally sitting outside
Yeah.
and
In the heat.
in the heat,
It's August.
Yep.
Yeah.
And people would come up, and eventually they started to get to know where we were at, what we were doing, and they allowed us. They said, "Okay, you can come in." And then at that point, we could organize it better. We actually got more volunteers to actually go inside and help us. We actually got community leaders. That's where the community leaders started to come in.
Yep.
Because that was at 18 when we started to see community leaders start to be present in not just the volunteers, in giving them to the community. And just so you know that most community leaders, and I see this, is that this is a great opportunity for them to actually get to talk and interact with your leaders that are doing so many things behind the scenes, or that you might just see them on the dais for some measure, but to see them out and actually engaging, that's a real treat for both.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, because lately we begin chastise on social media about what we do, in the community, what we do on the dais, things like that, and And I'll be blunt about it like I usually am. I said, I really wish you would take time, or people would take time, not you, if people would take time and actually find out what we actually do. Find out what we actually, do in this community, the amount of time we give them back, the amount of, investment we've given back to this community financially and, time and stuff. So
Yeah, and you both started well before this backpack stuff all got going. You got these two. I've known them and I've watched them because of the lawsuits. I've watched them do different things in the community. We actually connected because I was going to the street fair, right? It was organized by the Santee Chamber, right? And that's how I met you.
Yep.
And we were seeing each other with the Santee Santas, and same thing with you. I was seeing, we were running these circles that eventually it just connected.
Exactly.
Right? So before they were even elected, they were doing so many things for our community. They were already engaging in our, but to be able to then get into an elected seat and then be able to do it again.
Right. Further our, with the platform we have,
Yeah.
further what we do in the community.
Yes.
Right.
And that's a real gift to our community as well, because it's nice to get to know. I've been fortunate. I've been able to know both Dustin and Rob and watch them do some incredible, generous, and kind things, within the community. And they have to, on the diocese, the thing is, they have to make some tough decisions.
Well, here's the
And I
thing.
know
Here's
that.
the thing, John. We talk about, everybody wants to be elected. Everybody wants to go through the rigor of
Not
election.
everybody, but some people do.
Some people think they want to get elected. I promise you to go.
Yeah.
But here's the reality of it, John, is that once you're elected, you actually have to govern.
Yes.
This is the facts.
That's
right.
That's
and a lot of people don't want to take the time to actually learn the facts and what it takes to govern, and make the tough decisions to what a community is all about.
That's right. That's right.
It is tough. We make tough decisions. But that
Okay,
let's back to you.
okay,
Let's
okay,
get back to you.
okay. But I knew I was going to get an opportunity to do this and actually say thank you to these two, right? Because there's a lot of this program and a lot of other things that most people don't know about would not happen if I couldn't get their support. I didn't have their support. If I didn't have their confidence. That's how the library gained support, because they said, okay, we trust you. You can go inside. We trust you. So the business started to say, we'll start putting donation boxes in there. Okay, we'll trust you because we know what's going to happen. People trust what we're doing, and that is why we're able to, and we ask genuinely, because there are things out there that aren't legit.
Yeah.
People can legitimately say and go to our website, and they can see a history. They can see that it's real. They can see the real impact, and the businesses can get involved. So with the library, what Buddy did is he started to do some giveaways on that 2018. On 19, it got even bigger, right? And it was just insane.
Well, it is insane because you went from 3 donation centers to how many now?
We have over 30 at this point.
Yeah.
This year is probably the most.
Tenfold.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
tenfold in this period of time.
And this is because the business community. So if you go to our website, there's a list of businesses.
What's the website?
www.smoac.org.
Smoac.org.
Yes,
Okay.
.org. And the reason that I mention the businesses the way that I do, these are the businesses that care about our community. So my only ask is this: if they're willing to put a donation box right out there, please recognize them by, hey, go get a cup of coffee. Go to their site, for your leisure time. Go there to, if you have somewhere to, you want to build an ADU, right, for example.
Build
right?
a house.
You want to build a
Build an
house.
apartment complex.
Go there if you want a cup of coffee. Go there if you
You need a home loan.
yeah, you need a home loan, right? Whatever. But all of these businesses are saying that we care about the community. And you can donate anything in these boxes, right? Your backpack, paper, pen, pencil.
A box of pencils.
It doesn't-
A box of crayons.
anything will make a difference.
Everything does.
We will put it together, and we will help the kids in our community. We've done it since 2015, and proudly so. And our community, I think, is really engaged and sees it. And the thing is that I want to mention about
Hi, Ellen.
Hey, Ellen.
now in 2020. Hi, Helen.
Yeah, they do not.
So
Didn't know they didn't furnish lockers anymore.
they didn't furnish lockers anymore.
Yeah.
In 2020, the pandemic hit, right?
Yeah.
And
That
not only-
changed everything.
It changed everything.
Changed everything.
Change everything.
And so we couldn't do it, obviously, in the library anymore. But something else changed for me personally, right?
Yep.
So, Buddy, we had originally named the backpack program the SMOA School Supply Drive. Backpack School Supply Drive.
Yep.
That's what it was originally called.
Yep.
Very catchy.
Very, oh yeah.
It
It was
rolled right off the tongue.
original. And in that way, in 2020, right when the pandemic hit, at that same time, Buddy had a major stroke.
Yeah.
And he ended up in the hospital. And so
you guys were at the food pantry that day.
we have done a number of, we had our food pantry we started, we have care packages, we have the backpacks, we have our advocacy for the mobile home community. All about quality of life. It's all about making our lives better in our city and East County at this rate. And so I lost him in 2020. Kind of a crazy time for me personally.
What month was that, John?
It was April.
April.
Yeah, the end of April.
And you know, I mean, how much you want to talk about it's up to you, obviously. But you know, I remember you telling me that, you know, Dustin, this is so hard for lots of reasons, right? That was your significant other, you know, obviously going through that, but you couldn't even go to the hospital to visit them.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I couldn't.
This is real stories of families that were going through things during the pandemic where people were in the hospital or hospitalized that you couldn't even go see your significant other to, you know, hold his hand or
anything.
do all the
No,
things, you know.
no.
And
As
you
he's
know,
passing away.
and
I mean,
that's-
yeah, we were talking
yeah.
on the phone almost on a daily at that point.
Yeah.
Trying to get updates on Buddy, and because you know we can't get any information, we have to get it all through you. And
That's right.
and yeah, I remember the day you made that horrible call.
Mhm.
That it happened, and you know that we lost Buddy, and it was surreal. I know exactly where I was in my backyard, in the cabana in the backyard, and I just couldn't. I chin on the ground. I couldn't believe it, because if you knew Buddy, he was kind of a bigger than life guy.
Yes.
He was a larger than life guy. He's a very gregarious, big personality. Hugged everybody when you saw you. He was a gentle giant, and had a heart of gold. So you find it surreal to lose somebody that has such a big personality like that at such a young age. It just didn't make sense.
Yes.
And you know, you always try, I don't know about everybody, but I always try to make sense of everything, even in a world that doesn't always make sense. And that was one of the things I just couldn't wrap my brain around. So how you were able to pick up from there and continue is really amazing. Because I mean, we admit you've always done a lot. You've always been there and helped and everything, but now you had to do the work of two.
Well, you know,
Well, and to go to that point, right? I you know, because we did so much community work, there were people in the community that helped me.
Yeah.
While I was dealing with that, I
Yeah.
mean, I remember I reached out to Santee
in my window. Oh, thanks, Stephanie.
Yeah, we had the bears in the window.
Mhm.
I mean, the kids in the elementary school, they actually made cards when you know, it was really, the whole thing was very surreal to me. From taking over the food pantry, I was picking up food all the time, and I had to turn that over
well, that's what I was going to say.
to
For
someone
you-
else.
You personally, you went through obviously I don't know, tragedy is the word, but you went through that, but you also had to put some things on hold for a while, right?
Yes.
With the SMOAC operations
Yes.
during that period.
But ironically, that year, we were able to give out the backpacks
Yeah.
in 2020.
Well, we're going to get to that.
And-
We're working toward
and-
that right
and-
now. So,
There's 4 ladies
Yes.
in particular that
Yep.
stepped up to the plate and really took my back. I mean, it took four dynamic friends, community leaders to help me do this. So this has not been ever done on my own or by myself, right? So, you know, you got Alana Livens-Craig,
Yeah.
right? Amazing. I mean, phenomenal. Like, she has more energy than a cheerleader. That, you know, I mean, with 10 cups of coffee,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, she's got a heart of gold to help our community. Suzanne Coleman.
Yep.
Suzanne Coleman came in And she said, John, okay, I want to help. And so she has this great platform to get the word out. And also for a few years, and I really am sorry, Suzanne, but we had the donations in her garage,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and we were storing them there. My 2 board members,
Yeah.
right, Rose and
Rose
Sylvia,
Yeah.
right? Those 2 have been with me since the time I started
Yeah,
in SMOAC.
yeah.
Right, they were actually not on our board with Buddy when Buddy was president, but they came on the board and they asked me. They said, John, would you be willing to take over? Would you be willing to take this on? And I was like, I don't know. I'm working full time. Everywhere I went,
That's when the meetings
us.
were at Lantern Crest, right?
No, even before that.
Before it was Edgemore.
No, that was Edgemore. Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I do remember that.
Was
Yeah,
that
I
Edgemore?
remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that room back. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was that was
Oh.
yeah, that was a Lantern.
Not
Much
that-
better
okay,
when we moved
okay,
over to Lantern Crest.
If you're in Edgemore, it's actually a really nice place. Okay. But to have
What about the old Edgemore?
but to have your meetings there, it just wasn't the right environment,
No.
right? It
Right.
didn't sit well
right.
by bringing people in to
Yeah.
somewhere where people were trying to be taken care of,
Right.
right?
And you moved to Lantern Crest.
And then we moved to Lantern Crest.
Right.
And then in 2020, I kind of pulled back on the meetings because we didn't have the lawsuits anymore. We didn't have
Yeah.
any meetings going on.
Yeah.
So
That's what I was saying. You kind of pull back on operations a little bit of SMOAC because obviously with Buddy's passing, and then obviously your own grief that you had to go through at that point, the time that you had in there, right?
yes,
So that was April, like you said, right?
yes.
And then we're coming into the end of the school year, into May and June, I guess, right in
Yep.
that range. And you and I sat down and talked, or I
Yep.
called you, or I don't know,
Yep.
something there. And I think we talked about what are we going to do this year?
Yeah.
And primarily it's because of the pandemic. It was the
It was
COVID.
a pandemic.
Are we going to continue doing this year, right? Because each and every year since 2015, we have all been there. In every
Yes.
distribution, we had all been there together. Everybody has stepped up. The volunteers had grown. I mean, all these things, but we had always been there, right?
Yeah.
But I think it was the year before, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to remember. I kind of told you I wanted to kind of step away.
Oh, you were trying to.
Because the whole time this was always supposed to be about SMOAC, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't supposed to be about us starting it. It wasn't. It was kind of something to start where you guys took it and
Yes.
ran with it, and you guys did. You
Yep.
guys took it and ran with it phenomenally. I stepped away, but I was still there every year to help with the distribution, to help with the.
And you had
You know.
some stuff that you were doing on
Yeah,
your own.
Absolutely.
It's not like,
Yeah, 100%. But I didn't want to be a part of because the whole point was it wasn't my backpack drive or Rob's or yours or Buddy. It was for SMOAC to run with, right?
Yes.
And you and Buddy really took it and made it to what it is today.
Yeah.
But then that happened, and I called you, and and first thing I think the first thing we talked about was what are we going to do, John? Are we going to do this year because of the pandemic, because of everything that's going on? And do you remember how that conversation went?
The only thing I know is that we had some backpacks that were there,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew this is my feeling about the whole thing is I understood the connection with the reason I kept going with SMOAC, the reason I took over SMOAC the way that I did. Every part of what we did, I saw the connection with people. I saw how it made someone's life better. And I thought, I just can't not continue what we were doing and why we were doing it because I believed in what we were doing. And I understood it. It wasn't easy, but I got it, right? And so I said, let's go ahead and let's do it. But now we were like, where? And then I think we ended up with Rico as a drive-through program,
Well, no, so,
and also the other.
So I was able to identify, and I went to the school district then and said, okay, we need to do, because of the COVID, we can't do an in-person touch and do all these things.
We
We
need in the library
Yeah.
anymore.
We needed a place, and I came up with the idea as a drive-through, deal. And so the school district gave us 2 locations that first year, one at Prospect or Pride Academy,
Yeah.
and the second at Rio Seco. So we were able to have 2 locations that year and spread it out more, right? Everything about the pandemic was obviously touchless, but it was also spreading everybody out,
Yes.
right? So not everybody was located in one place. So when we did that year, it went off pretty well. I mean, I forget how many 1,000 backpacks we had that year.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, having
yeah.
to wear masks the whole damn time.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
I wasn't too.
You can't see anybody smile or anything.
Yeah.
Everybody driving through,
Right.
they had to have a mask on. You're like,
It's
oh, can't see anybody smile, man.
Yeah, all touchless. You know, we had to put them in their back. I don't know, all the things we had to
It
do.
was a lot.
Whatever.
There was a lot.
You know, a lot that we had to do, and that
But we made it work.
we made it work. And I think we gave away 1,000 backpacks that year, and all the stuff. And then subsequently, you know, going forward, now right at the year after that, it was okay. We're doing a Rio every year because this actually worked great. This is we're in and out.
Yeah.
We're in and out so fast now. I mean, this is like it's like clockwork now. So they should
And
take
it is.
They should take it from 2020 on
And the thing about
chronological timeline.
and the thing about that I want to mention about that why it goes so well, you have Judy Baxter who took over the food pantry, right, and continues to this day, which is amazing, how much food that helps people. And then you have Helen Norda, who also helps me with the backpack program and getting volunteers and pushing the drive. And that brings me to Meadowbrook. Meadowbrook, the volunteers there have always been phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Well, they got that clubhouse that's just
It's
ginormous.
Yeah.
And it gives you the opportunity, the space and the opportunity to put everything in there, organize it all out, you know, across multiple tables, and then just walk down the line, grab, and boom, grab, and boom. It really, and they have the people that are willing
want
to
to do it.
Yeah.
And because we had started that food pantry, it was already in place, the engagement and
kind of that,
and the kindness.
yeah, kind of the way of doing things that is similar in each process.
So
Right.
so our seniors in that part and the volunteers that come to stop them, we'll do 1,000 or more within an hour or less, putting them together. That's insane. These are seniors,
And they do it in a age appropriate or grade appropriate manner. So you know, you got the they don't go by age; it goes by grade.
Right.
So if you're in kindergarten, you know, preschool, kindergarten, you get this. You know, first or third, you get this backpack. You know, so on and so forth. So that everybody gets a backpack that's, you know, you don't want a high school
size appropriate,
going with a Hello Kitty
right.
necessarily.
Yeah.
Little plastic one that has crayons in it. You know, it's just not going to work for them. But,
and the supplies that go inside of
Yeah,
those
that's what I'm
supplies that
saying.
are donated and that go into them, they're appropriate.
but the
school grade.
The volunteers are the ones that set those backpacks up to make sure that everything that's inside there is appropriate for the grade that they're going into, and it'll provide them the tools necessary to hit the ground running on day one. So,
So that machine in Meadowbrook,
it's pretty neat.
right? And those volunteers, I mean, they are true volunteers that will make this happen.
Well, I mean, that's the old saying is like it takes a village, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, the four of us, you know, gave away whatever the first year, and then we, you know, kept going. You and Buddy took this thing to where it is. We hit 2020, but then now, like you said, those, you know, Suzanne and Alana and Sylvia and Rose, you know, and you have really taken this thing for where you are today with a village.
Yes.
You know?
And I think, on a side note, Barnes and Noble since 2017 has supported us. Our local Barnes and Noble, I'm telling you what, that is a phenomenal. I mean, for the way that they do it, and along with the library, along with the friends of the library, right? In all aspects, they've supported us in helping get us either volunteers or help give us a place to have a seat either at the giveaway or to collect. This next Saturday and Sunday, this is where I'm segueing in.
Let's go to that next, since we're talking about the actual event here pretty soon. But let's go to 2021 now.
Okay.
Because we're kind of going in chronological order, working up towards 2026.
So
what happened in 2021?
So 2021, I took a break. I needed personally. I needed to get myself put in place. You know, I had to figure out what I was going to do in my life. You know, what was I going to do in the community? How was I just going to live, basically? And I needed time. And the pandemic started to kind of pull back a little bit. Ended up traveling a little bit. Got my senses around. And I just kind of came back. And, you know, in the sense that I was like, I missed it. I thought that, you know, I still ran the organization, but we didn't do the backpacks. And it worked. And so I said, okay, let's do it. And from 2022 to now, we have continued to run this program. And
And it continues to get bigger and bigger each year.
It does. It's,
Yeah.
yeah. And there's people that just literally, I'm so thankful because the community leaders have stepped up, the businesses have stepped up, the community has stepped up. The impact to our students is so much so that, and this is why I want to segue into the Barnes and Noble just a little bit, right? So Barnes and Noble it's gracious. They have these book fairs, and so we're gonna have a book fair from this Saturday until the 26th. And there's the book fair numbers in our website. It's listed the number. I will be there this Saturday and Sunday in person. I'll also be there next Saturday and Sunday in person. So you drop off donations there. But that entire week, as long as you let Barnes and Noble say whatever you buy, whatever book, magazine, coffee, whatever it is, you let them know, hey, we want to support our backpack program. They will contribute a percentage of it.
Of the sale.
You don't have to pay anything. You don't pay any extra, nothing. All you have to do is just say, yes, I want to support them. And they'll say, okay. They will then attach and take a percentage. They give us a gift card. With that gift card, what we're able to do is we buy backpacks and school supplies at Barnes & Noble with that gift card.
Mm-hmm.
We then take a portion of that gift card as well. Last year, we were able to give out $1,000 to our district teachers. We broke it into $20, $50 gift cards just to be able to say to our teachers, thank you. Because a lot of times teachers are pulling stuff out of their pocket to do things.
Yeah.
And so it's a win-win for our businesses, our business community. It's a great place to come and spend some time on those weekends. Great people, got to know them so well. And they're so generous in helping promote and support this program. So I'm there for that time. So please, if you get an opportunity the next 2 weekends, please stop by and say hi. Even if you don't drop off a donation, I'm asking you to go to the business and support them because they have supported our community.
Well, let me say it a different way too as well. One of the cool things is, like you said, some of the businesses and the community have gotten more involved and donated in a bigger way over the last year and this year again. It's going to happen again for us. I've already got the commitments. So what that does though is it frees up the ability to take some of the funds, like you were talking about, that you would have otherwise had to use to purchase more supplies.
That's right.
And now you could turn that around and use that to give more gift cards to the teachers, so they're not coming out of pocket to supply their own classrooms with some basics that are needed in the classroom. As I hear a teacher over here saying, so it's, because it's kind of a, I won't call it a shell game, but it is a little bit of a shell game in that, previously you had to do that. You had to take any those donations that you were getting, or the gift cards you were getting at Barnes and Noble, that had to go back to like 100% to buying backpacks because we didn't have enough backpacks still for the need of the kids. Yeah. But now, because of other individuals stepping up and us being able to garner some more support from the community, that the backpack supply is there.
It's there.
And the supply part is there.
Yeah.
And like I said, we're able to now even give to the Marines. And the Marine and the 2nd Battalion, 1st Marines at Camp Pendleton, and then HMH 462 at Miramar. And some of these young Marines and their families are now able to send their kids to school on day one with the supplies that they need. And it all came from Santee.
That's right.
And the community of Santee. So you're not just helping our community, although it is our community first, it's Santee first, but you are helping those that that take care of our country as well. And and I don't say that loosely. It's a real statement. These things are going directly to our fighting Marines, and they are our fighting Marines. They're the first ones to hit the ground. They're the first ones to fly over and deliver all supplies and utilities to the front lines in both the battalion and the squadron. Mm-hmm. These are our fighting Marines. And to be able to help take care of them and their families is just one less thing that they have to think of. It's one less stress on their mind or their spouse's minds back at home while they're out doing their job and keeping our country safe. So it's really neat that we've been able to, that this thing has grown to a point where we're able to share in that manner. Right. And I know when we see the drive-throughs, I mean, we've been we've been at the drive-thrus every single year to hand out the backpacks personally. I'm usually the one literally handing them through the door and calling out what age bracket and
Yes.
what color they want and kind of trying to make that all happen. But we say Santee, are you Santee red? But we don't turn anybody away if they're not. So,
Yes.
I mean, but it really is. It's the surrounding community. It's, we got some people from Lakeside. We got some from El Cajon. But it's 90% Santee
That's right.
residents.
Yeah, I mean, that was the intention when we started, obviously.
Yeah.
And it's grown to your point. I remember in 18 and 19, we actually did get some gift cards at that time.
Yeah.
We've got each year, we've gotten these little extras.
Yeah.
We've gotten something that's kind of, gotten a little bit more. But really, since 2022, you guys have kind of just added another layer to all of it, and then the amount of donations we've gotten have not made the supplemental, we had to do, and we've been able to disperse those more. In previous years, I remember giving some of the surplus backpacks that weren't given away to some of the churches. I remember Todd Tolson's church, we gave some to his church when we had some extra, so that way make sure they give it out to their congregation. We have some left over. We give them to the school district, so they'll make sure.
Normally
we still do that.
Normally,
we still do that.
Normally, that's a pretty norm. Is that we try to make sure that, because you don't know if we didn't help someone, and to not know that, we make sure that we give extra to our school district so that when they see a child in need,
they have it in the office, and
it's available to them, right, regardless of whether they give away or not.
Yep.
And to your point, so Rob and the city was okay. Look, the city adopted the Marines. Okay,
Yeah.
the city as a collective city council has adopted.
It was
the
Randy's.
Marines.
I'll give you.
Right?
I'll give you a quick history on
Randy's.
it.
Okay.
Baby.
So this was Daryl Lysa had called Randy years ago. Actually, it wasn't Daryl. I'm sorry. It was Cunningham.
Duke Cunningham.
Duke Cunningham had called Randy many years ago and said, "Hey, I'm putting this program together where every city in San Diego County is going to adopt a Marine battalion." And I just want to, you're a veteran. I know you're a veteran, so I want to see if you're going to be in on it. And Randy's response was, "Okay, well,
That's right.
who else is in on it?" He's like, "Oh, pretty much everybody's agreed, to do one." And he goes, "Oh, okay, all right, I'm in. Sign me up. We will be in on it too."
Yeah.
And not really knowing what that even really meant.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then he gets a phone call saying, "Hey, well, there's El Cajon's talking about doing 2. Are you down for doing 2?" And he says, "Absolutely." Dust all shakes out. Not one other city adopted anybody. It was just Santee, and we adopted 2.
18 cities in this county, and City of Santee is the only city that has 2 adopted battalions.
Yeah.
To this date.
And so a lot of what we do is volunteer based. Like we it's not like we're giving money to them or anything like that. It's just it's rounding up resources to provide to those Marines things that they need, like providing dresses to them for the ball,
The Marine
Corps ball,
Mhm.
for the ladies, because they so they don't have to go out and purchase them. We get donations from people coming in for these prom dresses that were used, and wedding dresses, and bridesmaids dresses and
Nice.
stuff,
Yeah.
and they can do that.
The deployments, when they go out on deployment or come back from deployment.
Yes, doing lunches and just cookouts for them, where you actually get donations of the food. And we literally, have to go out there and flip burgers and stuff for them, so that they just have. It's little things. Randy himself, until he got busted for it, used to bring backpacks to the wounded Marines
Mhm.
At the Naval Hospital here in San Diego. He'd bring them backpacks full of liquor and girly magazines
Snacks
and stuff like that.
and-
That was just Randy. He had no
That was
idea.
Randy.
Yeah, and they loved it, but
Yeah.
then they find out these guys are getting liquored up in their bed. How in the heck did this happen?
Yay.
So Randy got in trouble for that, but his heart was always in the right place.
That's right.
And but we continue to this day, and that's how it started. 4th of July, we're there to host the Marines and the family members if they want to come in, and we host them with food and drinks all day at Santee Salutes and provide them with a great show, and just give them a day to just kind of do whatever.
And the reason that I bring that up the way that I do, right? Most people don't know this. I was a chief in the Navy.
Yep.
So I'm also a veteran, right?
Yep.
So I firsthand, I'm going to tell you, I saw military families. I saw that it is those little things that make a big difference. It is those little, and you move. You're always on the move. You're always. You don't know. You don't have control of your life, whether it's a person that's in the military or the family they don't have control of what's happening
No,
because they're serving their country,
they're,
right?
they're told.
They're told.
They have no control over
And-
anything.
And so, and I remember thinking I was at E1 or to E4, and I remember sleeping on the ship and thinking, oh, wow, this is my life, living in a little rack with a little curtain about so high. Right? You know,
And that was your space.
That was
your space.
And I opened a little thing, and it got a little compartment for all my clothes,
Yeah.
and a little gate up for whatever we were gonna do to get underway. So, as a veteran, you have always thought of our veterans.
Absolutely. I didn't serve, so I really feel it's my duty to help in any way, shape, or form that we can. So that's why I do a fundraiser for them every single month at the Santee VFW. I cook burgers and dogs every 3 times a year over at the El Cajon VFW. I mean, hundreds of them each time because it's I guest bartend over there just to raise funds.
Both of these guys
Let's-
help
let's-
our veterans.
actually,
that's all right.
Let's actually back it off a tangent
Okay,
on that
but-
one. Because we actually do have a show up and coming that we're giving a little teasers here and there. We have a veteran show coming up that we're going to be doing a podcast with that no one knows about yet.
Oh, okay.
So I'll let the cat out the bag right now.
Okay.
So
when I
let's
started-
go back to you.
Okay, so I bring it up because the backpacks don't just impact a few. It does, and it has transcended across many different families, whether it's East County or whether that's the Marines. Everything that you donate will go to youth. And
Well, let me ask you one more question, John, and then let's talk about this year.
okay.
All the things, because we're getting to that last quarter of the hour right
Yep,
now and stuff
okay.
too. So I want to ask you a question. You mentioned a comment earlier about it used to be called the Santee Mobile Owners Action Committee Backpack School Drive.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Something to that
Santee-
effect. Something to that effect.
Just
It's close
okay.
enough. It's
Real
close
Real
enough.
close,
It's
right?
the Santee Mobile Home Owners Action Committee.
Uh-huh.
And then it was for supply, backpack school supply drive.
Gotcha.
It was way too long. Okay.
So what happened in what's it called today and how
So-
that come about?
So after Buddy had passed away,
In 2020.
in 2020, and Dustin asked, said, "Hey, do you think that would you mind renaming it as Buddy's Backpacks?" And I'll be honest, at first it was really you would think it wouldn't be that hard, but it was hard because I would walk the first year and a half. I could walk around the community and I'd see us together. I mean, we never were separate. We
Yeah.
always were together.
100%.
They literally called us Buddy and John. It was like there was no separation.
There
Yeah,
wasn't,
right?
you guys were in my office
Right.
at least once a week,
Yeah.
coming in just to say hi and hang
Yeah.
out for an hour, and at least once a week.
So it took a minute for me to go, okay, and I think when I realized like we couldn't really have a service, right?
Yeah,
And I thought
again because of COVID.
because of COVID, I thought, okay, so what better way? I said, yes, let's do it. I said, this way, basically it's a living tribute. And it shows an example of what one person that everyone recognizes, especially at that time, what you can do. It doesn't take a lot to make a difference in this world. And that is the gift that by renaming it Buddy's Backpacks.
One
is
kind
to
act
show
at a time.
Yeah.
one backpack at a time. And it changes someone's life for the better.
Absolutely.
And that's why we call it Buddy's Backpack. So most people that knew of Buddy, knew Buddy, they understand Buddy's Backpack is a real person. However, I didn't want it to seem weird, so I ended up making it like an emoji, right, to make it, made it a little lighter, right? And that was a smart move on my part, right? And now people are like, oh, my buddy gave me a backpack. So it's like it's either or.
Yeah.
It has
Right.
a nice
has a nice-
meaning,
Nice meaning, and it actually rolls off the tongue a little better.
right? A lot better.
Just a little bit, huh? Just a little bit.
So Buddy's Backpacks,
Yes.
2026
Yes.
is where we're at right now. When did this start? When did the backpack drive start?
Okay, it started July 1st.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna end July 30th. Don't wait till July 30th
We're
because
halfway through.
Halfway
it's a-
through.
it's a tough go, okay, to do this in a short period of time. But it ends on July 30th. But if you can get it there sooner, please do.
So we got
Right.
roughly 30 donation sites here in the city of Santee. Multiple businesses, some of the longtime ones like YMCA and
We have a library.
library,
Lloyd's, Mission
Coffee
Realty
Corner, Yeah, Coffee Corner, Barnes and Nobles. No, but I'm going to tell everybody, go to the website smoac.org. Joe will put that up again to go find out these locations. If you don't know, if you haven't seen one, get it out there. But what's happening between now and the end of the month?
Okay, so we're gonna collect, and then once we get done collecting at the end of the month, we're gonna put them together at Meadowbrook, and age appropriate,
Right.
based on the age. And then on August 1st, we're gonna give them out at Rio Seco, starting at 9 a.m. is a drive-through program. Now, I want to mention that the Santee Community Foundation has also stepped up with a special surprise that will happen. I don't want to give away the details, so they haven't released everything yet. However, they are going to contribute something special on that day, or at least announce something special on that day to help our students. And then in addition to that, our community leaders are going to be there on the 1st to help give them away. What else?
So
I also, what about the firefighters?
Oh my God. Yes. Okay. So our firefighters will be there. So this year you can go to the firefighters. They have 2 donation boxes, both at
Station 4 and Station 5.
Yep, 4 and 5. Barnes and Noble. I'll be there these next 2 Saturdays. You can meet me there, and if you have questions, we can discuss it, or you can drop your donation out there. The Santee Coffee Corner. I can't say that enough.
Yep.
They
Susie and Dwayne have been big supporters from day one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so they're amazing. Dino's Pub. Gosh, there's so many. Angela's. There you go. Angela's Kitchen.
Yeah. Long list.
The YMCA.
Carl's
the
and Oaks Country Club.
Yes. The Rotary has started their own donation drive.
Mm-hmm.
There was another group that also started their own.
Well, the list is there.
Yes.
This is there. Go check out the website. But
Can people donate? It's if they don't have the ability to donate goods, but they have time. Can they help volunteer in any way that'll be meaningful to the drive?
Yeah, so on our website, there's a pre-stuffing, which is on the Thursday, which is the 20, or is on the 30th, which is at nighttime from like 5 to 8. It's a pre-stuffing at Meadowbrook. It helps take all the tags off, clean it all up. The next day from 10 to noon is the actual stuffing event at Meadowbrook. And then the day of the giveaway, which is August 1st, which is at Rio Seco, from 9 until noon or until supplies last, until we run out. You can volunteer. I don't recommend you bring your kids to volunteer because it is moving cars.
Yeah.
And so you want someone that's, at least teenage that you can, monitor what they're doing.
Or you don't have to monitor what they're
Or
doing.
don't monitor what, you don't want them to get,
Exactly.
you want them to be
Yeah.
safe, right?
Yeah.
So I usually invite our community leaders on that day because of that's just a way to bring them into the community. The day of the giveaway, please have your child in the car. That's the only ask that we have. We don't have any
Yeah.
criteria, income criteria, where you live, what you're doing, what you're not doing. We don't ask for any paperwork.
just the child needs to be present, so that way we give them a backpack that is gender and age appropriate.
And we
Yes.
can see that it's, not to say that people take advantage of things
Right.
like this, but unfortunately people take advantage of things like this. We've had people come through and they're like, well, I got 10 kids. I want 10 backpacks. And there's nobody in the car except
Yeah.
one person. You're like,
happening.
I don't think so. It's just unfortunate, but it does happen. So that is the only criteria, is that the kids are in the car.
Yep.
If little
Present.
Joey or Sally got sick that day and it's just the one thing, you know what? You have 2 kids and one of
we
the
make
babies has to stay home.
exceptions.
We made exceptions for sure,
Yes.
so please come out. But yeah, you're not going to get 5, 6, 7 backpacks and say, oh, they're all sick and they can't be here. Nah, that's
Yes.
if so. Guess what? They'll be at the school district office after the drive.
Exactly.
The kids can go there themselves and get one after the drive. But
So
and that's another thing is it's on the 1st and starting at 9 a.m.
Yep.
till
So noon, but
9 to noon. So if you can't make it, if the kids have sports that they have to be at, or you have to work, or there's an event, whatever the case may be, know that the district office will have backpacks after the drive that you can reach out to and still get a free backpack. So it's not that is the main day. It's the day we're trying to get them all out there. And then it also helps us because then we know how many are left extra
yes.
that we can start donating to other causes, like I said, like the Marines and so on and so
That's
forth.
right.
But it is Santee first. So we put the community first. We want to make sure there's enough for the
Right.
Santee community that needs it. After that is when we start reaching out beyond.
Well, that's what I was kind of getting to. We started with the chronological timeline history here. 50 bags, 300 backpacks, 500 backpacks, 800, 9,000. We, every year going forward, it seems like we've always increased that number, and we start the bigger and better, right? Every year. But subsequently last year, what was the biggest year ever? We got donated almost 2,000 backpacks last year, right, guys?
Yes.
Is that about right? Yeah. And I believe the giveaway was almost 1,200 on the day up. Is that right? And then we had the distribution to the Marines and all the things, beyond that.
300 went to the Marines.
Right. So
I will
when we hit 1,000, I thought that was a crazy number, you know. But now we double that. And what's the expectation this year?
We're going to hit around that same. I am expecting that we're going to hit around that same number, right? I don't ever take anything for granted, though.
Nope.
Because I don't. This is one thing that Buddy did teach me, right? It's really disheartening when somebody comes to something and you have to say, "I'm sorry, I don't have anything."
Yeah.
That is the worst feeling, and so that's what drives me to say, "Hey, no, I want to make sure that we still have what we need. I want to make sure that we're taken care of." And that one year that you had reached out for the Marines. That's why the Marines were able to get some extra backpacks, because so when I say Rob thinks about our military, our Marines in our city, he does. Okay, and he was very creative in reaching out to our businesses and getting them to help us. And so for those businesses that know who I'm talking about, right? Because it's people have different things, whatever, right? I support them 100%. They stepped up and they actually followed through, and it's made this program a lot easier to manage and run and actually help people.
Yep.
But it was that a little extra that I was able to give you that helped the Marines. I said, okay, let's go do it.
Yeah.
And it was because of your drive and encouraging people. And you've done the same thing.
Oh yeah.
I everyone, and this is not to take away from anyone else on the city council, okay? I want to be very clear there.
No.
But at the same time, I need to point out that these two, from day one, from the time I met them, have done nothing but serve and help our community. And I've witnessed it. And I can also say that whatever donation that you provide to a student, whether it's a backpack, a pencil, a pen, or no matter what business you go to, they're reputable businesses, they're credible businesses. This is a solid group. This is a solid community effort. This is what I love about this is they used to be stuff the bus, and all those backpacks used to go to the city, used to go outside of us. We would donate here and it would go outside there. And this way it stays in at least in Santee and our East County, and it helps us. It helps our kids. Yeah. And that's what's so amazing. And that's what also I thought so nice about this is that we can help our local students and not just have the drives at the local corporate store.
The impacts are so vast, right? You talk about the new backpack, right? But when you have a brand new outfit, we talked about this over the years. A kid going out and getting a new outfit or a new pair of shoes for school, having that new backpack, it has a confidence builder, right? You're walking in with a little swagger. You got crisp, clean, everything going on. You're feeling good about yourself when you're walking in. But also the financial times, the hardships that families have been facing, really since COVID. I mean, not to say hardships weren't prior to, but it seems to be exponential in the last 5 years plus, right? Everything's getting more expensive in our world. Our milk is, our eggs, our gas. We've talked about this ad nauseum, it seems like, the last couple of years about household expenses.
We used to buy. I remember walking in and we would make up the backpacks. We would go in and get a $3 or $4 backpack. Yeah. There are no $3 or $4 backpacks.
Doesn't exist anymore. Doesn't exist anymore, right?
Yeah. And I tell you, there was years that I was stressed. I was thinking, this is not going to happen. I don't know how I'm going to do this. Right. I mean, and this is after Buddy passed away that I couldn't figure out. Right.
Community comes together.
Community comes together. I remember, like you said, the one year, I bought $110 backpacks. That was a donation that year. It was $110 backpacks. Yeah. And you can't, like you said, barely get that quality of backpack for that price any longer. Yeah. So the dollar doesn't go as far. You get less for your, all the things. And it's true. And unfortunately, the families are hitting that financial hardship, but we are so fortunate that the community does what we do.
Yeah. And so for me,
that we give back to this community and it stays here, like you said.
And for everyone that's involved in this program, whether you donate or you're a volunteer or you're a community sponsor or you're a business that help, for me, thank you. I appreciate that very much.
All right, so we got to wrap this up here real quick, but I do want to, when you have the time, I want to bring you back. I actually want to talk about the food pantry.
Okay.
Yep.
Because that's something that we have a Santee food bank, but people know about, but not everybody knows about the food pantry.
That's right.
And I'd really like to talk about that and get some information out to the community about that it's there. There's a resource there, and again to help drive more
Other
towards
people,
it.
other people show other people how they can do the same.
Yeah.
I think a recap after the Buddy's Backpack Drive is over,
Yeah.
we'll do a recap on that and talk about other things that are happening in the community.
Okay.
Is
Something
that
like
cool?
that.
Yeah,
Can
that
you
sounds
make
great.
that happen?
Yes.
Well, thank you for being here with
Thank you,
us.
John.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything you
Thank
do, brother.
you.
We know we appreciate you.
Yep.
And your team, Sylvia and
You're
Rose are
amazing,
freaking
too.
awesome.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Everybody is too, but they,
Yes.
like you said, they've been there from the get go,
Yeah.
and they have no quit in them.
A well-oiled machine now.
Yeah.
It really
Yes.
is.
Love to see them at the concerts in the park still.
Yeah.
When they show up.
Speaking about tonight, you guys, obviously this is
Cassie
concert
B.
tonight,
Yeah,
so
Cassie
just put it
B.
up there. Cassie B, Townsend Park East, come out and join us tonight at 6:30. Usual Thursday night hangout on during the summer.
And anything else we want to add in for this one?
Nope. Send us off.
Thank
All
you.
right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us, and we will catch you next week. Until then, God bless you, God bless America, and God bless Santee. We'll catch you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.